and reflect on what has been, what is, and what could be. That's what journaling is for me. Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Staci if you guys are new here, and today we are talking about how to start a journal routine and just kind of the history of my journaling routine, and we're going to take a look at all of my journals that I have at least partially filled out. Basically, I'm going to start with a little bit of background into my journaling history and why I started journaling, what it has done for me, and all of those things. And then I'm going to talk about just some of the benefits of journaling. And then we're going to look at some tips for how you can start a journaling routine too. So we are starting off on May 6th of 2017. That was my very first journal entry in this journal right here. This is the journal that I took with me when I moved to Tennessee for a summer and lived in the Smoky Mountains, where I was a chaplain on top of a mountain. Going into that summer, it was the summer after my junior year of college. My junior year of college was the hardest time of my entire life. I was severely depressed. I was suicidal. I had some suicide attempts. I literally had absolutely no idea how to cope with my emotions. I had had kind of a lot of rough things happen my sophomore year of college, and I didn't process any of them. And then they just kind of came up and started drowning me my junior year, to the point where I was drowning my friends in all of my emotional problems. And basically I was in this thought cycle of being depressed and being anxious and being sad just all the time. I honestly did not think I was going to make it through that period of my life, and I can talk more about that or not. I like to kind of leave it in the past, but coming out of that junior year of college and going to the mountains, I knew it was going to be a big thing for me because I was leaving everyone that I had ever known. I was leaving everything I had ever known, and I was either going to not make it or I was going to come out better at the end of it. As the pages of this journal say, I came out better at the end of it. Basically, going away and journaling helped me to figure out how to process my emotions and how to basically just be a happier, healthier person. And I do just want to say, if you are struggling with depression or anxiety, especially suicidal thoughts, don't just think that journaling is going to fix that. Please go and get professional help. I was in counseling in my junior year of college and my senior year of college, so obviously that also helped, but journaling is a tool that therapists very frequently recommend to people, so it can't hurt, but please make sure that you're also seeking professional help as well. Don't just listen to me and think that you're gonna be happy because you journal, because you might not be, or you might be, who knows? I honestly haven't. Was not expecting to cry. Okay, it wasn't even anything emotional. I really haven't read over this journal. Okay, I gotta, I was not expecting to cry in this video, like at all. I literally just read one sentence. Okay, well, so obviously there's a lot of emotion in this journal. And that is one of the things that I love about journaling, is I can look back and I can see these memories and I can remember things that there's literally no way that I would remember if I didn't have it on the pages of this journal. And so this is my first journal. This was the summer after my junior year when I lived in the mountains. That's basically all that is in this. So that's my first journal. Then we come into my second journal, which is very crusty looking and old. It's not that pretty, but this is my senior year of college. This I'm sure also has a lot of emotion tied up in it. So this is after I graduated. It's very stained. I would say definitely don't get like a fabric journal if you're planning on journaling a lot, because it probably will get stained. But this goes through me processing, graduating, me missing my college friends, me meeting my, well, getting to know my future husband more. And then this one comes after that. This is when my husband and I were like officially dating, and I was just figuring all that out. I believe I got engaged in this one. Yep, I got engaged in this journal. So all of those memories are in this one. And then that brings me to my final journal, which started on May 8th of 2021. And we are now at June 10th. So as you can see, I don't really journal like that much anymore. Like that's not that much for over a year of writing. Like I haven't even filled this in a year, but those are all my journals. I don't know if anyone cared, but journaling actually does help reduce stress. There have been studies that have shown that it actually decreases blood pressure and increases liver function, which is like crazy. So those are two sides that it actually helps to reduce stress. It also helps with memory recall, which I kind of talked about. Journaling just helps you to remember things. If you write it down, you're more likely to remember it later, and you have everything written down, so you're able just to go and sit and read all of those memories, and maybe you'll burst into tears like I did over literally nothing. But they're happy tears, I swear. This is another really big one. It helps you to track trends in your life. This is one thing when I started journaling, like I said, I had those negative thought cycles constantly. And by journaling, I was able to be like, wow, I wrote about this yesterday, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before that. And it just kind of helped me to realize I'm thinking about these things too many times. How can I actually resolve these things? How can I actually put an end to these negative thought cycles? And it forced me to, okay, I'm not gonna write about that today, and I'm not gonna think about that today. I'm gonna put these helpful thoughts into my head by writing them down. Also, if you're in an abusive relationship, or maybe there's just something in your life that's not working for you, sometimes writing it down can help you to realize that, because if it's just all jumbled in your head, it's hard to actually figure out like what's really going on, you know? Also, it allows you to vent without venting to anyone. I know we've probably all been there when you broke up with somebody, or there's just something that's really on your mind and you're constantly talking to your friends about it. Eventually, your friends kind of get tired of hearing about it. And yeah, you can go to therapy and talk to your therapist about it because they get paid to listen to your crap. But sometimes it's just nice to have an independent way to process emotions. This is something that I didn't know how to do in college before I started journaling. I had no idea how to process emotions on my own, but by journaling, it allows you to do that without having to burden your friends with your problems. Not saying you shouldn't talk to your friends about your problems, you should, but sometimes it's nice to have someone like a journal who isn't gonna care how many times you come to them with the same stupid problems that you have. Not that your problems are stupid, but you know what I mean. It also helps you to know what you're actually feeling. So again, sometimes things get jumbled in your head and it's hard to know what you're thinking. But if you write it down, then you actually know what's going on in your head, and you can kind of piece those things out and then know what to do about them. So let's go ahead and get into the tips. We've talked about why you should journal. I feel like everyone thinks that journaling is a good thing to do, but it is hard to start and keep that habit. I'm not saying that I am perfect. There have been probably months that are missing from these journals because I haven't journaled, but I have built a pretty good habit of it. So here are some tips for you guys. Always keep it close at hand. My journals are always sitting over on my bedside table. If they're not sitting on my bedside table because we went on vacation or something and then they got left in a bag, I won't journal because they're not sitting right there. If you leave them in a place that's going to be easy for you to access and that you're going to see every single day, it's going to remind you that you need to journal. Basically, insight in mind. That's how I like to think of it. Another tip is to always journal at the same time of day, whether that's the morning or the afternoon, lunchtime, whatever works for you, however it fits into your day, always journal at the same time of day. For me, I journal right before bed. Usually Brandon has fallen asleep or is kind of winding down for the night, and I am able to then go and journal. That just gets you in the habit of doing it every day. If you're all over the place with when you're journaling, you're probably not gonna do it as consistently. Thirdly, consider having a digital journal. So we all have one of these, right? Most of us. You're probably watching me on one of these right now. If you struggle to keep a journal because you don't like having a journal laying around that other people can read, just put it on your phone. You can type it out. We're all pretty good at typing, I think. It's just kind of an easy way. Also, some people don't like writing with a pen. That's fine. Pull out a computer and type on it. Whatever works for you, use it. There's also apps you can get that will like send you a notification every single day to remind you to write. Number 4, if you don't want a digital journal, find a pen and paper that you like. I recently have been using the Sharpie gel pens. I like these pretty well. I like that the ink flows out pretty well. The only thing that I would say is I like a thinner tip. So if you like thinner tips, I wouldn't get the 0.7 because it is a little bit blocky, I guess. But just work to find a pen and paper that you really like writing on, because it just makes the experience a little bit more enjoyable. And if you have a pen that allows you to have a little bit better handwriting, you'll feel a little bit better about your writing because it doesn't look like chicken scratch. I don't know, chicken scratch just kind of demotivates me. I like journals that look nice. Not that mine look amazing at all, but you know. My next tip is to habit track it. So again, if you guys have seen my monthly reset videos, you've seen this. This is my habit tracking. So basically every single day I fill out half of a square in this little like a gridded paper. And it doesn't really matter how you habit track, but having a way that you can check off days is really helpful, especially if you are starting to build a habit, because you'll see, you know, oh, I missed a day of journaling. Now I am not getting the reward of getting to kind of check off the day. So have a way that you can habit track. I actually, in a lot of these journals, have created habit trackers where I'll like just draw like a month grid and I will fill in every single day that I journal. If I'm out of the habit of journaling, I will very frequently do that, and it's nice because you can just have it in your journal. You can see that I have a little box there, and I obviously completely failed at filling it out, but there are some instances where it actually worked for me. And on that note, don't stress about missing a day. If you miss a day and you get down on yourself about it, you're probably not gonna journal the next day. Just be like, I missed a day, who cares? I'll write today, it's fine. And don't feel like you have to write everything that happened on the day that you missed. Just skip it unless something really significant happened that you feel like you wanna write about. It's fine, don't stress about it. And don't stress about what to write. Believe me, there are very boring journal entries. Let me find one. Okay, this one's pretty boring. Watched your Spider-Man movie for date night. We made popcorn too. Watching a movie in bed. Bees falling asleep. Made it to the easy half of the week. Up to 315 subs now. Proud of myself. That's it. Like, don't feel like you have to write anything crazy. Like, I don't know, is that making me less stressed writing those things down? No, but is it nice to know that we watched a Spider-Man movie on a date night? Sure, okay, I like it. Not all of my journal entries are that boring, but if it helps you to keep the habit going, literally that's all you have to write. There's journal entries in here that are, it's really late, I'm going to sleep. That's it, okay? Anything to help your streak of journaling, like, keep going, it's fine to write those things. Don't feel like you have to be the next Mark Twain or something. You know, just write whatever comes to your mind, and it's fine. If there's things that are bothering you, they will probably come out on the page. But if there's not, it'll probably just be really boring stuff, which is totally fine because life is all about the mundane stuff anyway, right? Who cares? Just write whatever comes to mind. Don't stress out about it. I promise it'll be fine. Don't stress about what to write. But if you are struggling with what to write, there are a lot of really good journal prompts out there, but don't feel like you have to stick to journaling prompts. For me, journaling prompts make me feel like I have to write a lot because it's like, oh, this question and I have to answer it in complete detail. Don't feel like you have to do that. But if you are struggling to write, consider trying some journaling prompts because it might spark some ideas. It might work for you, but it doesn't work for me. So try them, but don't feel like you have to stick to them. If you have some journals that you've written in already, I always find it really helpful if I am struggling to journal and stay consistent with it to read through your old journal entries. That just really motivates me and makes me remember why I journal so I can look back on those memories. So if you have some old journals or something and you're just not in the habit right now, maybe pull some of those out and it might motivate you a little bit. So if you're trying to get back into it, that's a little tip. And then my last tip is something I've never done. Well, I could guess I kind of have done this, but if you all are still struggling after going through those tips, you may consider writing to someone else. So especially if you are kind of having relationship problems, or maybe there's some unsaid things that you just feel like you need to get out, I would consider maybe writing as if you're writing a letter to someone else. Not because you're ever gonna send it or because they ever need those words, but because you need to get those words out. Those are my tips for journaling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you want me to like talk more about journaling, or I think maybe it would be fun to like do, I don't know, like a read through of my journals. Like obviously there's really private stuff in here that I probably am not gonna share with you guys, but there's probably some funny things that I can get out of these journals. So if you are interested in hearing some of the things in these journals, let me know and I will make a video about it. With that being said, if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe. I make videos all about my life here as a social media marketer, figuring out my life because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I talk about finance and keeping a healthy, happy home and being healthy and being married and all of those fun things. So make sure you're subscribed. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.